after the previously mentioned asshole drove away in a panic, maybe crying and shaking, too spineless to own up to their crime, leaving her father to die in the remains of his ruined 15-year-old Toyota. After all that, this is what people said more than anything else. "I'm sorry for your loss, Marion." Her loss. As if she'd misplaced her car keys. When people said that, a part of Marion wanted to slap them, knock the cards and casseroles out of their hands. "I'll tell you what I've lost," she wanted to say, and then open up her chest so they could see the hollow pit where her heart used to live. It was stuck in a state of collapse, this pit. A tiny, organ-shaped singularity sucking down the bleeding, ravaged bits of who she used to be. But Marion did none of this. She accepted their bland sympathy and uncertain smiles, tucked the wrapped food into the packed fridge, sat by her mother to make sure she didn't sneak pills, and held Charlotte when she woke up sobbing. She was Marion Althouse, devoted daughter and trusted little sister. She sat alone on the bench outside the restroom on the ferry, arms full of everyone's purses, while her mother vomited in the toilet and her sister flirted with a boy who drove a Lexus. She was a rock. A blessing. A good, steady girl. She did not give in to rage or self-pity, not ever. Not once. "There it is!" Charlotte leaned against the deck railing, the wind whipping her honey-brown hair around her face. "Don't lean out too far," said Marion. She sat on the polished black bench across from the railing and held her mother's gloved hand tightly in her own, anchoring it in place on her lap. Charlotte, 17, nearly 18, glanced back with a magnificent roll of her eyes. "Marion," she said. "Honestly." Marion, 16, nearly 17, agreed. Since birth she'd been a bit of a fusser. Something she'd prided herself on, if only because it drove Charlotte batty to have Marion always chirping at her shoulder. But since their father died, her ability to nag and worry had skyrocketed to a whole new level. Really, what did anyone expect? There were only 3 Althouses left now, 2 and a smudge on their mother's bad days. You couldn't know which day would be the last one, and you couldn't trust Charlotte not to lean out too far or run too fast or fall in love too easily. And you couldn't trust their mother with pill bottles or sharp objects. So Marion didn't. She held their purses and followed doggedly behind their every flighty, stumbling step. "It looks amazing out here." Charlotte pulled out her phone to snap pictures. "It's like this thing perched out there on the water. A beetle, a monster, some magical lost place." Marion would have preferred to be napping in their car's back seat, not talking to anyone, and not looking at the rocking water, and maybe not waking up. But her mother wanted fresh air, hoping it would settle her stomach, and Charlotte refused to sit around being boring. God, perish the thought of Charlotte Althouse ever being accused of such a thing. So Marion sat without complaint and watched Sawkill Rock approach on a sheet of gray waves. The island really did look like a thing. Black and solid, craggy, a little bit fearsome, a little bit lonely. That part didn't bother Marion, though. She would have lived on a barren, dusty rock with no horses or people or yachts tied up at the docks if she could have. Just her and Charlotte and their mother, a little clean white cottage, a pebbled path down to the water for sunbathing. That's all they needed. Quiet and one another.